campers. It is Reid from ReidAboutSex.com, and we're here for a morning walk or afternoon walk, depending on where you are. And I don't have a lot of time today because I've got a coaching client I have to jump on Skype with in a little bit. But as I was making my coffee, and good morning to everyone, I wanted to talk really, take about 10-15 minutes to talk about a particular thing that a lot of people have challenges with, maybe not you, but a lot of people when I tour around, speaking at colleges certainly, and speaking at other venues and events and groups, a lot of adults have a tricky challenge with safer sex conversations. And as a sex geek, clearly labeled, and as a nerd, and also for me, as I shared in like other little walk and talks, is where I sit here on my treadmill, my walking desk, chatting with you. One of the things for me that I had to fight as I was growing up was the nervousness, the awkwardness of having the talk, the safer sex conversation. And one of the things that I eventually kind of came to was, one, as a teacher, like realizing that part of my difficulty, but also other people's difficulties, are that a lot of people were just never taught a really simple way to have the safer sex conversation. And understanding that for me, certainly, and it seems to be for other folks, that that having the talk, we have this fear of saying the wrong thing or doing it wrong, and that then there will be no sex. Like we will ruin the moment. And I want to spend a couple of minutes teaching you a really simple way to look at having the safer sex conversation and why it's really important. And then the title, I put Better and Safer Sex by Scaring People Away. And there's a resource link, which is reidaboutsexcom/elevator, which is a link to the article, and also for you to be able to download a handout for having your safer sex elevator speech. And I'm going to talk about why this is all important in a minute and how this can help you and help your friends. But first I want to do a quick check and make sure that people can hear me. So just let me know in the comments if you can hear me fine. I'm still trying to make sure that all of the technology is working. And for those of you who haven't seen me doing my little treadmill walk and talk, I've got my phone. Actually, I can hear my other computer. Hang on. I've got my phone taped to my big screen. I've got my laptop over here, and I've got a Safari window open, so that or Chrome window open, so that I can watch the video, but more importantly, see the comments, because it's kind of hard to read all the comments on the phone. And for some reason, oh, there we go. There are the comments. So, good morning, everyone. Hi, Vera. Hi, Craig. Karen, hello. Great. I can be a little bit louder. Okay. Hang on a minute here. This is going to make noise. Let me see if I put this. All right, so I'm going to try to speak a little louder for those of you watching at home. Okay, thanks, Craig. Great. We've got Kathryn from Nashville. Mallory, hello, hello. So I'm going to dive in because I've got a coaching client call in a little bit, so I'm going to have to jump off and prep for that. So here's the deal. Safer sex elevator speech. When you realize that most people have never been taught how to have the talk, and that we're supposed to be having some sort of safer sex talk, and you add to it that most people are afraid that they're going to say the wrong thing and ruin the opportunity, and all the sex is going to go away, because if you realize from a nerdy perspective how your reptile brain and your fear brain work, it's not like, oh, if I say the wrong thing, I'll be able to clean it up, I'll be able to correct what I said and apologize, and then we will have the sex. The way your fear brain works is that if you say the wrong thing, all sex will be taken away from you forever. Like it's just going to go away for all time, and you're never going to have any other sex again ever. So this is also why a lot of people have challenges speaking up in bed, because we're afraid we're going to say the wrong thing or ask for the wrong thing, and then all the sex is going to go away. We're just going to ruin the moment, but not right then, and be able to fix it. We're going to ruin the moment irreparably, and then we're never going to be able to fix it, and we're never going to get to have whatever we want. It's all going to be taken away. Like, that's kind of how our fear brains work. So here's what's really useful, I think, and as somebody, for those of you who don't know this, it is kind of all over the internet. I'm very promiscuous. I have a lot of sex with a lot of people, and that's not to brag about it, but what I do want to let you know is, as somebody who does sleep with a lot of people, having conversations about what you want and being able to have the talk very openly and frankly, and you get better at things over time. So if you start today and you're really horrible and nervous about having a safer sex conversation, over time, with practice, you will just get better and better at it. And then what happens is you end up being more confident and accomplished, and even though you might get awkward and nervous, you can have the conversations that are difficult for and challenging for a lot of other people. That kind of competency and awareness and self-assuredness, one, I think is really sexy. Two, it allows you to make other people feel comfortable, because you're initiating a really uncomfortable conversation for most folks, and you're doing it in a way where you're just kind of having it as like it's a normal thing. Like it's not a big deal. It is a conversation that we should be having. So here, let me start. And by breaking the ice in that way, and you initiating what can be for other people a really, really difficult conversation, while it might feel awkward and a little bit like, ooh, that's really direct, we're having the conversation, you are actually lifting a huge weight and worry off of people's shoulders and demonstrating that you are a grown-up and that you can have grown-up conversations. Where this has a secondary benefit is that if you scare somebody away by having a grown-up conversation about safer sex needs and desires and your STI status, if you scare people away from having sex with you because you wanted to have a direct conversation, compassionate and cogent with them about safer sex, I think you're better off, because you just scared away somebody who's not capable of having a grown-up conversation. This can be a little bit tricky for folks who feel like they're never going to ever connect with anybody, or people who are challenged with a lot of loneliness, people who have a lot of scarcity in their life, maybe aren't getting their monkey needs met. Maybe haven't had a lot of human contact in a while. This is where things like Cuddle Party can be really useful, where you're getting your non-sexual touch needs met and kind of shoring up and filling your tanks there around just social interaction. But over time, as somebody who sleeps with a lot of people and who has been sleeping with a lot of people for a long time, for decades now, what's been really important is the quality and caliber of people that I attract into my life has risen dramatically over the years, because not only have I scared away the people who can't, handle the grown-up conversation, word got out that I'm somebody who has grown-up conversations around sex and desires and sensuality, which has, like a beacon in the night, attracted people who also desire and appreciate those levels of conversation. So I'm just letting you know here that while it might seem scary that you're having the conversation, you're going to scare people away, my evidence and experience has been you end up scaring the right people away and attracting better folks for the most part. And you're also role modeling for your communities how to have these grown-up conversations in ways where now everybody's starting to work on their fear of speaking up. Everybody's starting to go get tested more regularly. Everyone's having these grown-up conversations. It doesn't mean that people won't test positive for an STI or something like that. It doesn't mean that people won't, have difficult relationships or bad breakups or things like that. But what it does is it uplevels the community that you're surrounding yourself with. And that over time, if you have people being more grown up and honest and transparent with each other around something as powerful as sex, that also means that you're building those muscles, you're exercising those muscles to have grown-up conversations about things like money, about things like, parenting and raising families and just being friends. So hopefully over time what you end up doing is creating and attracting community around you that actually can navigate life when it gets difficult. And that overall, I think, just creates a better, more fruitful world for you. And so I'm not saying that having your safer sex elevator speech will solve all of your problems, but I do think that practicing it will help upgrade and up-level the life that you might be wanting to create for yourself, and attracting better, more awesome, more badass people into your world. So the quick version here, because I'm going to have to jump off this call or this talk in a couple of minutes because I have a coaching client. The quick format for the Safer Sex Elevator speech, and you can go to readaboutsex.com/elevator. Andrea, yes, we know that my t-shirt's backwards, and we're trying to find a way to flip the iPhone. For some reason, when we have it in selfie mode on Facebook, this is what happens. So we're aware that my sex geek's backwards, and we're trying to fix it, but we haven't figured out a hack. If anybody gets to it and can figure out how to flip this during a live broadcast, I'm on an iPhone, and I would love to have that be less annoying. So the Safer Sex Elevator speech, really quickly, go to readaboutsex.com/elevator. There's an article. You can sign up to get a PDF download that you can print out and put on your fridge. You can hand out to your friends. Please post and share that link with folks. Share this video where I talk about this. But the basic format for the elevator speech, and you can change it and make it your own and add things in, take things out. But the basic format is 7 steps. And the first is you share when was the last time you got tested and what your results. When did you get tested, and what are the statuses for what you got tested for? So that's the scariest thing for most people. But so you get that right out of the way right at first. It's like, would you like to hear my Safer Sex Elevator speech? They say yes. And then you say when you were last tested, what your results were. And then the second step is you give them any information that will help them win with you. So that's like, what's your relationship status? Do you have any other partners or relationship agreements? What are your preferred pronouns, if that's important to you? Is there, a particular, dirty word they should be, or a name they should call your genitals, like, Batman or something like that? Are there words that they should stay away from using in the bedroom, things like that? So the second step, that's where you really get to make it your own. Like, what's that information that's going to help them win with you? And then the third step is you sharing whatever your safer sex protocols are. What are your needs when you're having your safer sex? So you've got your when were you last tested, what your results were, all that information that helps them win with you, relationship status, if you have any primary partners, maybe you're fluid bonded with another lover or something like that, your pronouns, gender things that you want to help people understand you with. Then you've got your safer sex protocols. What are those needs that you have? in the bedroom for your sex to feel emotionally and physically safe, and also for you to be able to adhere to the relationship agreements and safer sex agreements you have with other people. And then you add in anything that is new information since the last time you were tested. Like maybe you had a condom break the week before and you haven't been tested since then, or you have been tested and you didn't get your results back. So you're just giving people up-to-date information about your status. And then the last 3 steps, something that you like to do sexually, sensually. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you want to do with this person. And then something that you don't like to do sexually, sensually, erotically. And again, it doesn't have to apply to this person, but what you're role modeling is it's okay to have things that you like, and it's okay to have things that you don't like. And then the last step is you ask the other person, and how about you? And the reason this is called my elevator speech is this is the thing that once you get good at it, you can do it in like 2 to 4 minutes, almost like a business pitch where they talk about elevator pitches and things like that. So I'm going to have to jump off this call because I've got a coaching client in a couple of minutes. I just want to say thank you to all of you who are going along for me on this ride of me getting on my treadmill, my walking desk once a day, and just, geeking out with you all around sex and relationships. When I have a regular Sex Geek t-shirt on, that's going to be sex and relationship advice. And when you see me with my green Sex Geek summer camp t-shirt, that'll be business advice for sex educators, workshop facilitators, healers, and things like that. So I have to jump off to another call. I'll read and answer the comments as quickly as I can. Thank you everybody for our little, joining me on our little walk together. And I hope this is fun and valuable. Leave a comment. What's been useful about this particular talk for you today? And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like...